Hi, Andreas from Toddle here. And earlier today, we posted our weekly challenge in our Discord channel. If you haven't joined our Discord channel, I recommend going and doing that now. And under here, challenges, you'll find our weekly challenge channel. And right here earlier, Casper posted our challenge for this week. And that is create a website or app in Toddle that lets you turn on and off lights. Now, what that means is kind of up to you because we're looking for submissions that are creative and innovative and use Toddle in really fun ways, right? If you go to the channel, Casper will give you some more information in this video. It's a really good way to sort of understand a bit more about what we're talking about. And he also built this sort of example of his interpretation, right? And so on this site, we've got this little light switch down the bottom left corner. And when you click it, you'll turn the lights on and off, right? So quite a literal interpretation. And you might be sitting out there thinking, well, I haven't really tried Toddle very much. I haven't spent much time in it. I'm not sure I could do this. I'm not sure I want to participate in a challenge, right? I might not win. So I thought I'd take you through a simple way to sort of build my interpretation of this channel. It's going to be very basic. And I'm going to go through step by step. So by the end of it, you're going to know exactly how to solve this problem. And you can sort of try to put your own spin on it. And hopefully you'll submit this to a weekly challenge. And if you're lucky, you'll win a Toddle t-shirt by the end of the week. So let's get started. I'm just going to move myself back to the left side here. And so I've got a new page here and with nothing on it. And if you're not quite sure how I got here, I recommend going and checking out our video series on how to Toddle. It's linked in the description. And it'll take you through how to do everything from setting up a project, getting started, and how each of the different parts work, right? But for now, I am going to start building my page. So I'm going to first add here a heading 1, a main title, and I'm going to change this to weekly challenge. So we're keeping it pretty basic today, right? This is our website. And in addition to the H1, all I want here is a button. And I want that button to be positioned in the top right. So I'm going to change it to an absolute position. Then I'm going to add some right offset here and some top offset of 16 pixels, right? So I'm saying just be 16 pixels from the top and right. And it's sort of floating up there. And that's exactly what I want, right? I'm going to change the text to go light because right now we're clearly in dark mode. And what I want to happen is when I click this button, I'm going to switch to a light theme and change the text to go dark. And then when you click that button, it's going to change back to dark mode and change the text to go light, right? So the first thing I need to have a way of keeping track of that state. Are we in light mode or dark mode? So I'm going to add a variable to my page and I'm going to call it lights. Just light, I think. And I'm going to start by setting that to false. So light is false. That means the lights are off, right? And then when I click this button, I want to set them to true. Now I could just write true here, right? But that means every time we click the button, we'll set it to true. And what I really wanted to do is toggle between true and false, right? So what I can do instead is take the value of that variable right now. Right now it's false, but next time it'll be true. And then I'm just going to add not at the end of it. And not basically just takes us, if something is true, we're going to return false. If something is false, we're going to return true, right? So every time I click the button, it's going to swap between true and false. And it doesn't really seem to do anything, but that's actually because we can't really see the value right here. So right now, the light here is true, actually. We changed it to true by all the clicking, but obviously we haven't done anything with that value, so we can't see it anywhere. The first thing we're going to do is we're going to change this text And the way I want to do that is actually, I'm going to duplicate the text by holding down Alt and dragging it. And then I'm going to change the second one to go dark. And I now only want to show this text if we're in dark mode, and only want to show this text if we're in light mode. So let's start with this one. I'm going to use this little show FX button up here, and I'm going to say if lights. So if the lights on, show go dark. And then we do this one, and we do show, and if the lights, and then we're doing the same thing as with the button. We're saying not. So if they're not true, then change it to go dark. And now if we go, again, going to test mode here, and press the button, we're switching between go light and go dark, right? Good. So that was the first part. The next thing we want to do is we want to make sure our background here right now is a nice dark gray. But what we want to do is that when we change this to light mode, we want to change this background color. And the way I want to do that is I'm going to take this element, and then I'm going to add a class to it. And classes are a way to sort of give our elements a custom state that we can then style independently, or like style in addition to the normal styling that's going on. And I'll show you what I mean. So here we're going to just call this light, this class, right? And then I'm up in here in style. I can go and say, I want to add a style for light. And the way this works is that all the normal styling is still going to be applied, but then in addition, all the styling from the light class is being applied. And that actually overrides any default style, right? So anything we've set in here like background, if we set it in here in light, let's go and do that. Let's go change it to gray 200, right? Now that actually overrides the default, right? But of course, we don't always want it to be light. That doesn't really solve any problems. So in here with our class, we're going to use this little fx again. And the way this works here is that if this function or formula, returns true, then the light class is on. If it returns false, then it's off, and the class doesn't apply this. So we can use our light variable here. So whenever the light variable is true, this div element is going to have our light class, right? And whenever it's false, when we turn the light off, it's not. So let's go and try and test that. We're going to click dark, go light, go dark, go light. Okay, so that's working. Now, the next thing we need to do is find our H1, which is very difficult to see because I hit just the right color, right? And we want to do the same thing with that. So we're going to give it an attribute called light. We're going to bind that to our light value. And then when we change light here, we actually want to set our text color to something dark. How dark? Maybe not too dark, maybe just around there. All right, and let's go back to test mode. We now have a nice switch between light and dark. So that was just a very simple example. If you're doing dark mode for a larger project, we're introducing themes a little bit down the road. So you'll be able to do that on a much sort of easier way for a large project than this. But this is sort of good example of how you can do it for a simple website, right? And for a simple page like that. And also shows you how you can go and do the lights on channel in Toddle. So I hope this made a lot of sense. I hope you're going to give it a shot. If you haven't signed up for Toddle, go and do that right now. And I can't wait to see what you're going to build. So come build a lights on challenge and go and post it in our challenge. And hopefully you can win a t-shirt. Have fun and see you next time.